First up is Resident Evil Retribution 3D. Justin?
This film follows Mila Jovovich as we follow up immediately from the ending of the fourth film, where her and the crew and the people aboard this freighter are attacked by Umbrella forces. She gets knocked off the boat, knocked unconscious, wakes up, and then there's this whole moment of she's this housewife and she's got a deaf daughter, and all of a sudden monsters attack, and then that ends and she's on the floor of an Umbrella facility where she was captured after the freighter blew up. They're trying to get her back to who she used to be. To really try and go in depth on this sort of story is ridiculous. Because really, of all of them, this one is the most video game-like of them all. Mm-hmm. Because it has specific, almost like level locations. You've got your Moscow location, you've got a New York location, and so all of these areas kind of act like maps on a hub. When they're showing these CGI wireframe models of this Umbrella facility, it looks almost like a video game map that you would pull up. So of all the films, this comes, I think, the closest to matching how the games run and how they feel. So, Aaron, were you and I the only two who saw this
just
piece
you
of wizardry?
Just you and I. And the story I agree with completely. I think the whole plot, or if you want to call it a plot, is Alice is at the bottom of an underground compound. She needs to get to the top. And she has to fight her way through various, like Justin was talking about, simulated environments. But that's it. Everything's an excuse to shoot shit.
Yes.
The story could have used a few more clever scenarios and zombies, a little less shooting everything in sight. But outside of that is the plot. That's the entire story. This series is not about the story. It hasn't been for a very long time.
Yet,
that's so sad.
Absurdly, the story, as bad as it is kind of intricate. There are lots of elements from the first film, the second film, the third, and the fourth that flow right into this. There are a lot of criticisms that I think you can level against Paul W.S. Anderson, who has directed and written all of these films. These are pretty stupid and they're pretty silly, but he does not make throwaway. I mean, he didn't just crank this out of his butt and throw it up on a screen. There is money that went into making these films. Everybody involved worked hard. You can tell by watching these people go. They put effort. The director and writer put in effort. There is actual effort involved in putting this out. So it's not a lazy film. It's just not very good. But they definitely tried hard. And as much as I was bored occasionally, there were also moments where I was like, damn, that is cool.
I will tell you, Mila Jovovich. Hey, I said her name right. She is there, like, just going to some of the acting, because you really can't talk about the acting too much, except for Mila and Michelle Rodriguez. Those are the only two things that matter in this movie. I don't know why she's had so little success outside of this series, but she's got so much charisma, and she seems when she's, even though it's all choreography and it's very calibrated, it's very articulate. She does a great job making it look like she could beat the shit out of you and then shoot your face off. She's perfect in the role. Michelle Rodriguez, I was so happy to see her back because she actually plays kind of like two kinds of characters in the film. One's very much an everyday person, and one's very much Michelle Rodriguez. I'm going to kick your ass. Both of them, and it's hard because, usually when we do reviews, we try to get more intricate and more involved, and this is why the story works. This is why this is not a movie that has anything. Who cares? None of this matters. All that matters is the production, what it looks like. The series is about gunfights and zombie kills. That's it. And for what it's aiming for, to me personally, it nails it. I believe when we review a film, we should be reviewing what the movie is trying to do, as opposed to basically making the same.
What we wanted it to do, or something like that.
And what it's trying to do is be a guilty pleasure, and for that, it succeeds. I mean, it's dumb, it's stupid, it nails shooting zombies and very clever gunfights, finding unique ways to do stuff. I don't know, Justin. What's your favorite part of the movie? I mean, what about it made you the most excited?
Well, the fan of the franchise, of the game franchise, was really tickled to see Ada Wong show up. to see Leon Kennedy show up. There's definite fan service in this film. They really do pack it pretty full. I mean, Jill Valentine, if you saw the fourth film, you saw her reappear at the end of that movie with one of those, that control module on her, between her, breasts, and this cleavage exposing outfit. So Jill Valentine showing back up. I like those little moments. There's all sorts of little things that they put in it that if you're they say Las Plagas. So if you played the fourth game, you know what they're talking about there. But they completely retweaked it to make it the film version of it. There's almost nothing left of the game. It's just more character names and stuff like that. But for me, I think the most interesting part of it was that when this deaf girl showed up early on, I anticipated her story being over with pretty quick. It wasn't over with. And in fact, Mila Jovovich and her Jovovich, or however Aaron pronounced it, have quite a bit of interaction towards the middle and end of the film. My immediate reaction was to go, "Oh God, ditch the kid. This is really going to suck." I found it actually oddly touching. Her reaction to this child was touching, and I didn't hate it. And I actually saw her protecting of this child. It made some sense in the weird fucked upness that is the universe of this franchise. That relationship and her reaction to it made sense, and it worked. But for me, the first fight scene with her and the chain and the gun was probably my favorite fight scene in the whole film, because what she does with that chain is pretty fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
In a cool way. There are some bad performances in this movie, though. Wesker, I don't know who they hired for this guy. He is so overblown and overdone, it's ridiculous. And I don't know what happened to the woman who's playing Jill Valentine. In the second film, I thought she did a really good job. But in this one, it was more like she should have been on the set of a soap opera.
Yeah.
Really kind of ridiculous. But Michelle Rodriguez, I thought she did a really good job. And she's one of those actresses that so many people love to hate. And again, I don't get it. I think she's kind of fun and interesting. She always kind of plays Michelle Rodriguez, but at least she's having a good time. But my favorite moments were probably with Mila and the girl, surprisingly enough.
I really did miss Ali Larder. She was...
No, I didn't either.
And Wentworth Miller, I did miss. I really liked Wentworth Miller.
Didn't he die?
No, he didn't die. I guess in Prison Break he might have. But he popped up in the last movie as whatever it was.
He was Chris Redfield.
Yes, Chris Redfield. And I thought he was great. I liked his charisma and his intensity and stuff, and I thought he was a good addition. And then he's not.
Apparently, they all died on that freighter.
My two favorite parts are the beginning and the end. I love how the movie ends because it obviously sets it up for the next one.
Right.
But the beginning is one of the coolest openings I've seen in a long time. Mm-hmm. And I guess I can explain it. Basically, they take the events that happen in the first 5 minutes. You actually see them unfold in reverse. And then
slow.
Very, very slow motion. And then they happen in real time forward. It sounds like idiotic, but it works so cool. Just very cool. Because you know that this particular action scene's coming up and you're like, oh! And then it just works. It
reminded me just a little bit of that trailer for
Dead Island.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't have that backwards, forwards things, which that trailer had, but the whole reversing slow and then going forward, it did. And it kind of reminded me of that a little bit. And I wouldn't be surprised if, these are both two different zombie franchises, if Paul Anderson wasn't influenced by that a little bit. But yeah, the ending of this film is how they've ended just about every one of these movies.
It does.
Where you pull back to a huge scene of, oh shit, that's going to lead right into the next film, which Anderson has said that if this film makes enough money, then they will do one final film to end this franchise. And actually, I kind of hope they do, because we're 5 in now. Fuck it, let's go, let's finish it.
So, what's your final verdict?
I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I completely recognize that it is not a quote unquote good film. There are so many elements to it that were laughable, but I do think most of the people involved really gave it their all. I enjoyed it. I came out of the theater going, yeah, I'm glad I did that. So I would give this a 7.
Wow. I think the movie is stupid, ridiculous, physically impossible, by the way. Ludicrous, but it's fun to watch. I went with my daughter. We had a really good time. As long as you know what you're getting into when you go to the movie, it's exactly what you expect. If you're looking for anything that's deep, or you want emotional resonance with the characters, or you want this story to really go somewhere, you should see anything else, because it has none of that. Except for, I do like her and the little girl, but I think Mila kicks ass, and even if the story didn't go anywhere, I give it 6.5 out of 10 because I had fun.